Hi, my name is Julianne, and I am going to be doing my May wrap-up. This month I read 4 books, and I started a new book, but I haven't quite finished it yet. The first book I read in May was The Dark Prophecy by Rick Riordan. I have a review of this that I will list down below. This is the second book in the Trials of Apollo series, which is a spin-off of the Heroes of Olympus, which is a spin-off of the Percy Jackson series. It's complicated, but it's amazing. I really love this book. I loved it more than the first book, and I really thought it was a good addition into the Percy Jackson universe. I honestly really enjoyed this story a lot. This book was darker than I thought it was gonna be. I mean, I'm not complaining, I'm just saying, like, it does get darker in this series, which I'm actually kind of loving. Like, I love the more edgier version of this Percy Jackson universe. People have grown up with Percy Jackson, so I feel like Rick Riordan knows and is kind of catering a little bit for the older audience as well, even though it still classifies as middle grade. Overall, though, this was a joy to read. I'm so glad to have it in my life, and I'm excited for the next book. After reading The Dark Prophecy, I started The Battle Mage by Taran Matharu. This is the final book, the third and final book of the Summoner series. It was phenomenal. This series follows Fletcher, who finds out that he is a summoner. A summoner is someone who can summon demons. Fletcher, after finding out he is a summoner, ends up going to a school to learn how to become a summoner. On top of this, there is a war that is happening with the orcs, so you know that needs to be fought, and there's just a lot of action. The main character is such a good person, but he's also a badass. I love him so much. I love this series a lot, and it is a very unique fantasy series because it's probably the first fantasy book I've read that involves the Industrial Revolution, and there's like guns in the series, and it's just like, you think fantasy, you think swords, and no, there's guns, there's rifles. It's kind of weird and cool and amazing, and I love this series. Then after that, I didn't buy this book at the same time as The Dark Prophecy because I was already buying like 3 other books, and I needed to cut myself off at 3. I couldn't buy 4. I went back eventually, and I bought the Camp HalfBlood Confidential thing. I really enjoyed this. It's so funny. It was such a good read. It was so nice to get Percy's point of view again. I loved it. It was nice to explore Camp HalfBlood even more than we did before. For those who remember back in Titan's Curse, remember when Nico watched the orientation film and then we have no idea what it's about? Well, you get to find out what's in that orientation film in this book, and it was really funny. I had so much fun with it. There was some foreshadowing, I believe. Like, they would mention things that I swear haven't happened yet, where someone would be like, yeah, so that thing happened later this summer. I'm not 100% sure when this is supposed to take place, but I do believe it is between the first and second book of the Trials of Apollo series. So they keep referring to things that are about to happen in the future. So I think there's a lot of foreshadowing in this, and I just kept reading being like, what is gonna happen in this series? Like, I'm so excited. If you want some extra Percy Jackson stuff, I highly recommend. It's always fun. Now after that, I decided to reread this book because the second book came out. Apparently it came out in March. I thought it came out in May, so I was like shocked that I was like, you know, late to get this book because I was anticipating it so much. I was so excited for this. And this is a book I haven't talked about on my channel yet, but I love it so much. It is so much fun. And that is Crossing the Line by Megan Rogers. Yeah. If you are a fan of Alias, you will love this book. It's like all the best parts of Alias, okay? It has like all the stuff I love about it. This book, it was so much fun. It is a spy thriller, and it's about this girl, Jocelyn, codename Viper. When she is like 10 years old, she got kidnapped by North Korea. Her parents were part of this spy organization. It's not necessarily American. It started in America, but it's kind of like an agency for all of the countries. It makes more sense if you read the book, but it is in America. So her parents were part of this IDA. That's what they call them. So she was kidnapped by the North Koreans, and she was raised as an enemy to the IDA. And so she's under their thumb. She has to do whatever they tell her. They send her to the IDA to infiltrate them. And she goes in there and is like, yeah, so I want to become a double agent and take down Kato, which is the North Korean spy agency. And it's amazing. Oh my god. It is so action-packed. It is so beautifully written. Oh god, I love this book so much. The action scenes are amazing. She's such a kick-ass character, but she also has this like vulnerable side to her, and it just makes her such a very well-rounded character. I don't normally ship people really quickly, like, you know, it takes time. I'm here for the slow burn. But as soon as Travis shows up, like 5 seconds into him showing up, I started shipping him with Jocelyn, like, so quickly. I don't know why, but I ship them so hard. I really like them, and I want them to be together. It's such a good book. It is so kick-ass. It's a thrill ride. And I am planning on doing a review about this book and the sequel and talking a little bit more about it. There are some stuff in here that I wanted to address, but I don't want to mention it here because they're kind of spoilers. So after that, I started the sequel, which is called Enemy Exposure. This takes place, you know, like a month after the second book ends. I'm not gonna go into too much detail about this book. Also, I didn't read the summary, so I'm not quite sure what's supposed to happen in this series, or what is, you know, supposed to happen in this book, and I kind of want to keep it that way. So far, it has been awesome. I really like it. It has that whole Alias thing going for them, where they travel to another country, and then like 5 seconds later, they're back in America, and I'm like, how? Do you have like jet planes that travel like faster than light? Like, how do you get through these countries so quickly? Like, what kind of planes do you go on? I swear you flew like on a commercial airline. Like, how are you getting at places so quickly? You know, it's just a minor thing that I think is kind of funny that happens, I guess, with spy thrillers, but it's such a great book. Oh my god, I'm already having so much fun with it. I honestly highly recommend this series so much. So that was all of the books that I read this month. When it comes to movies, I haven't watched like any movies at all. Also, I'm still behind on like all of my shows. I haven't really caught up on anything except for Supernatural, which was good. Kind of, you know, it's Supernatural. Like, at some point I'll make a video about this, but Supernatural just has its ups and downs. It has more than one episode that jumps the shark, let's be real, but I still enjoyed the show. They did kill off some characters who I think will come back at some point, because this is Supernatural, but I don't know, like, I almost feel like they're not gonna bring back these characters. There is one more season left in this show. Hopefully it doesn't get renewed. The show needs to end at some point. A story is supposed to have a beginning, middle, and end, and Supernatural seems to forget about the end parts. So hopefully they know how to end the series. But overall, I really do enjoy the series. But that's pretty much the only show that I've caught up. The only show that I'm like keeping up with at the moment is iZombie, as it comes out every week. But all the other shows, like I'm far behind on. I want to finish all the shows in the Arrowverse and have like a video talking about them. I don't know if I'm gonna make separate videos because they all exist in the same universe, so it's kind of hard to talk about one show without spoiling the other show. And at some point I'm gonna catch up with The Magicians and make a review of that, because I love The Magicians so much and I haven't kept up at all, and I feel really bad about that because I really do love it. And when it comes to short films, because I love short films, I've mentioned that a few times on this channel, but I love short films and I haven't really been watching that many. I'm sure I've watched a couple, but I don't even remember what I watched. That's pretty much it. I mostly have been reading and listening to podcasts this month. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!